So in the mindset section, there's a little summary, which I'll read to you just now. The mindset of an investor is a crucial factor in determining their success in investing, including property investment. While knowledge and expertise are certainly important, having the right mindset can be the difference between a successful and an unsuccessful investor. So here is a few ways in which mindset is important in investing. Number one, discipline. Investing requires discipline in a long-term perspective. A disciplined investor is able to stick to their investment strategy and resist the temptation to make impulsive decisions based on short-term market fluctuations. Now, this is an interesting one, because if we look at what has been put here in this section, we'll go through it and we'll see investing requires discipline. So that means that you are you've got a goal that you have that you want to achieve, and you need to have discipline to reach that goal, meaning that there'll be impulses and desires that could take you away from that goal, because they'll be short term and this is a long term goal, and you're going to need to face that battle along the way. Sounds familiar? A disciplined investor is able to stick to their investment strategy. That sounds very similar to if you're sticking to anything that requires a duration of time, a diet, a goal, a training plan, a workout program, sticking to the gym, doing your park run. All these types of things require the discipline to state them, and that you won't get the result on just the first time that you do it or the second time you do it. The result requires you to do it often, and the accumulation of those efforts over time will add up to hit your goal. So the discipline is required to make sure you put the inputs. And the long-term perspective is to make sure that you know that it's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to happen on the first attempt or the second attempt or the third attempt. It's going to be a accumulation of these things that you do over the length of the time horizon that you're doing it on. So it goes on to say, resisting the temptations to make impulsive decisions. So what would be the easy one for that? So you're looking at, sticking to a diet. You want a bit of junk. Sticking to the training plan. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll start next week. I've got something coming up. I've got a night out planned, and so on and so on and so on. So you can see here, this way of writing it has been written in the sense of from an investor, but we can see that there's actually a lot of mileage in terms of how this applies in life. So here's some of the things that we've written down. And what I asked was, what do you think are the issues that people face? So what comes up in life that causes them to knock them off track? So shiny object syndrome. So that's like, I need the newest item. I need the newest car. There's something great. The newest phone, the newest device. They take the impulsive short-term gratification and sacrifice it for the long-term goal. Another one that came up that I thought was really good was giving up too soon. Just think of that. How many people are on the cusp of greatness, literally right about to break through, and they give up. They just stop dead in their tracks, and all the work they've done up to that point is gone, because they revert and they go back to their original self. We go on to say short-term decisions takes you away from the long-term goals, and it's always a lack of consistency. So how does that work? What it means is that, right, say you've got a training plan and you need to train 5 times a week for 12 weeks. So you've got 60 sessions that you need to complete. And at the end of that goal of those 60 sessions, you would be a lean, mean fighting machine. You'd be exceptional at whatever it is that you're going to do: park run, marathon, Ironman, ETAP, racing event, cycling event, whatever the particular thing is that you're aiming for. But you want to show up on those days. And every day that you don't show up, you're taking a bit out of your long-term goal. So there's a brick that could have been put in your wall that you're looking to create. Rome wasn't built in a day. And that day that you don't show up and put that brick in the wall is a day that your wall could have had something and you didn't put it in. So those, the short-term comfort of I will do it tomorrow, or I can't be bothered today, really has a big detrimental effect, because, as we said, the accumulation of these things that you do add up over time. And if you don't do them, that accumulates the wrong way. So you're not doing the things that you need to do. And it's that consistency that kills you. And one of the things I see in Mindset all the time is that people come out the gates hot, really motivated, and you can actually see how interactive and engaged they are, and then back to their old self, just like that. And that's a micro version of the big macro reason that people don't get the results, is they don't stick to it. Another one is FUD, F-U-D. So for those that aren't familiar with the acronym FUD, it stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So, say something fluctuates, like for instance, if you're an investor, say you have a long-term bias or an opinion that something is going to be bullish, that means that in the long term you think this thing is going to go up, this investment of whatever type, stock or bond or currency or commodity, whatever it may be, a business of any type, you have a long-term view that this thing will continue to go up. But in the short term, there may be volatility, and that volatility might be to the downside. What that means is that it might be bullish in the long term, but short term it's had a bit of a hit, and then it returns. But in that period of time, the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt kicks in, and people just exit out of it. And what that looks like is, if you, like, what would be an analogy for life? Well, it would be like you start your training plan and you go out 3 runs, and you've just made it around the block, and your grand plan's to have a marathon, to run a marathon. You've got 26.2 miles to run, and you get to the 3rd day and you say, fuck it, I can barely run around the block, I'm out of breath, I'm sweating, I'm 3 runs in, I'm never going to make it. Well, that uncertainty or doubt, it's more doubt there, that doubt that you'll not make it cuts you off, and that short-term feeling destroys your long-term goal. So that is number one in Mindset, in the ebook of how to become an investor, what you need, and that is completely translatable to everything that you can look at in life. So the next thing I asked this is, how could we write this in a way that would be that would work for Mindset, like for people that's not investor related, it's not investing. How would you write it? And this is what we came up with. People who achieve their goals successfully stick to their plan with the long-term outcome or result that they want, and they do not give in to the short-term temptations. And they don't quit. They see it out. They show up and they stick to the plan because they have their eyes on the prize, the long-term goal. And that forges discipline, because they show up when they don't want to. They make it happen. They will put in that brick every day into the wall. They will understand that the cumulative effect adds up, and they make it happen. So that is discipline. Number 2, patience. Well, they say a thing about patience is patience is a virtue. And anyone, and many, many people that are successful lack this virtue, but they will have learned how to bring it into their life, because patience can be well rewarded.